Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jamie Finn 1415 and I was the first documented trainer in the world to reach legend only using shadow Pokemon. I achieved this 6 times consecutively, season 8 all the way to season 13. With that in mind, I set a challenge to find the best win of season 16 using a triple shadow team. The rules were quite simple. You just had to use a triple shadow team and you could enter as many times as you like. To declare the winner, it's going to be down to you, the audience. I'm going to set some polls on YouTube and the winner will receive a gifted ticket of their choice, courtesy of myself. This video, without a doubt, is going to be the most difficult video I've ever attempted to put together. So if you appreciate the effort I've been through, I'd appreciate you smashing that like. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And then game 1, we've got Trojan Pickle out here running Big Boy Snorlax into Metachan, a pretty dreadful lead. However, much like Licky, far too thicky, Snorlax does do alright in this matchup despite taking super effective from the counter damage. We force ourselves early shield advantage. The opponent dumps energy not to get hit with a further body slam, and Trojan's going to take himself shield advantage. Shadow Venusaur, pretty good in the Great League. Shadow Ivysaur, not bad, but you're looking at Shadow Bulbasaur. Trojan sends out his Bulbasaur, we shield up the Ice Punch. Much like Ivysaur's got access to Power Whip and Sludge Bomb, unfortunately no Frenzy Plant, we fire off the Power Whip, down goes Metachan. Let's see what the opponent comes in with. They come in with Licky, far too thicky, and Bulbasaur going straight for Power Whip. Number 2, and despite being less than 1500 CP, Bulbasaur hits like a truck with into the pivot into Hitmonchan, and the opponent continues to stay in. Hitmonchan, the definition of a glass cannon. We can tank a body slam, however, if the opponent stays in, Trojan recognises the opponent must be incredibly weak, and my god, they are. Out comes the annoying Steel Snake. However, it won't be so annoying in Season 17, as that break-in swipe is getting nerfed. Hitmonchan already puts this thing deep into the red. We actually survived the break-in swipe. Trojan attempts to throw it at good timing. However, the Dragon Tail takes us out, but Bulbasaur says, don't worry, hold my beer. I've got this, and we take that game. Next up, we've got the first of what I believe to be 3 entries from Cutless Boy, running one of the most ridiculously glassy teams I have ever seen. We pick up a great lead. Gengar into Cresselia, but what isn't great is Swampert. Swampert able to beat the entirety of our team, so Cutless Boy stays in, shields the Hydro Cannon, banks all the energy and sends out Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan can tank a Hydro Cannon, but let me tell you, it is not pretty. Bearing in mind the opponent's running a regular Swampert, and that did like 65% of our HP. Cutless Boy undeterred, overfarms, fires off the Ice Punch, and the opponent invests that shield back. Hitmonchan just going to be sacrificed to the Pokegods. Cutless Boy now in the 1-to-1 shield. Do we send out Blaziken and look for the aggressive counter farm down? We do not. We send back out Gengar. Gengar fires off the Shadow Punch. Swampert invests that Protect Shield. Cutless Boy then traps the opponent into a CMP tie. They do not win, and Gengar gets rid of Swampert. Back out comes Cresselia. Cutless Boy farms up, throws one further Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch, not the hardest hitting move, but Gengar hits like a truck. We get Cresselia down below half health, send out Blaziken, and the opponent's got Tapu Fini in the back. Things not looking fantastic, but Blaziken has that Brave Bird coverage. Brave Bird nearly one-shots. We get our first huge boom of the video. Blaziken now gonna shield up the surf, commit to the full counter farm down. When Cresselia does return, it's going to be forced to dump energy. Even a resisted Grass Knot will of course take us out from this range. Back out comes Gengar. Gengar running out of HP, but able to reach the Shadow Punch on the CMP time. That's going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Without a doubt, we've seen the first of many big booms to come in today's video. In the next battle, we've got some more madness from Cutless Boy. We're leading Mewtwo into Runerigas. Dreadful. We say switch into Hitmonchan. Also not a particularly good matchup. The opponent does us a huge favour, being ever horny for the debuff. Not even building up to the potential Shadow Ball, just going straight for the Sand Tomb. The opponent then switches out into Stinky Binky. Hitmonchan baits with the Ice Punch. The opponent calls the bait. This time Cutless Boy full send in the close combat. Close combat goes unshielded. Get absolutely wrecked. And just like that, Cutless Boy has flip switch. We can now realign. We send out Venusaur, which you will notice is running Solar Beam. Why? I have no idea, but I do hope to see one land. The opponent throw the Sand Tomb. Cutless Boy invests his first Protect Shield, then returns fire with the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant forces the shield back, and the opponent pivots out into Ferrothorn. Yikes. Even with a lowered defense, Cutless Boy believes his Venusaur will survive, and it does. We throw one further Vine Whip, pivot out into Mewtwo. The opponent builds up to a potential Power Whip. We see Cutless Boy invest his final Protect Shield. We've now got no Protect Shields remaining. Cutless Boy over farms. building up well past the side strike. Side strike, force to protect shield. We only have side strike, but you've always got to fake it till you make it. Cutless boy able to make side strike number 2 and even resisted. That does huge damage. Ferrothorn looks to dump energy. The opponent throws the power at Venusaur on a sliver of HP. Over farms, reaches the back-to-back frenzy plants. One resisted frenzy plant will take care of Ferrothorn, and the next frenzy plant is going to vanquish Runerigus back to their Pokeball. GG's and thanks for playing. Nicely done there by Cutless boy. Moving on to Cutless boy's third and final entry, we've got Shadow Ursaring into Walrein. Ursaring does have access to counter, however we are running Shadow Claw. Walrein going to strike first with the Icicle Sphere, and my gosh, that did a lot. This bear made of paper but undeterred, Cutless boy farms up, throws the close combat on the CMP tie. The opponent shows no respect, get absolutely wrecked. Cutless boy thinking about pivoting, however the opponent sends out Swampert. Do they know? Trailblaze goes unshielded, Swampert straight in and straight out. The opponent saving 2 Protect Shields for their Charmer, however high Charmer meet our big pile of gunk and the opponent's going to concede the match. Next up we've got Grant playing some Open Great League. You will notice this battle is cropped somewhat strange. I believe that is because it's been sent to me on InShot and I can't amend it to fit this application. However, we're going to ignore that and get into the commentary. We pick up a Great League Graveler into channel favourite Beedrill. However, disaster has struck as the opponent say switches into the Bear Trap and we have no response. We send out Golbat. Golbat is able to tank 1 rock slide hit back for heavy neutral damage with the Shadow Ball. However, we're probably not going to be able to maintain switch. Grant shields up the rock slide. He then goes straight for the Poison Fang. If the opponent is counting, they'll know they don't need to shield, and Stunfisk easily withstands the damage. I imagine we're just going to let this go. We're going to be unable to Volt Switch farm down. However, with the lowered defense, this could set up a very nice Dragon Breath farm down. Grant waits out his clock, sends in Gary. Gary looks for the Dragon Breath farm down, and we get it. The opponent's final Pokemon is Azumarill. We see the pivot into Agrav. Agrav core breaking the remainder of the opponent's team. Grant can't afford to shield this. We just about survive the Ice Beam. The opponent sends back out Beedrill. And we're going straight for the hard-hitting kill shot. Stone Edge forces the first Protect Shield. But Graveler has enough energy for the Rock Blast. Beedrill, made of paper, chooses to let that move go. Beedrill does get the full Poison Jab farm down. It's now all down to Gary. Grant knows this isn't a Sludge Bomb. The opponent goes for the Fail Stinger. Gyarados gets the full Dragon Breath farm down. However, Azumarill does double resist these non-stab Dragon Breaths. How are we going to win this game? The first crunch lands. We get the defense shop. Okay, Gary's cooking. Grant able to make crunch number 2, and this should be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, which it does. Azumarill so slow to charge moves. Grant's going to be able to shield up the incoming Ice Beam. Outpace to the next crunch, which is also resisted, but Gyarados doesn't give a flying fuck about typings, and we're going to take that game. Gyarados very much displaying the power of Shadow Pokemon. Next up, we've got the first of, I believe, 5 entries from my absolute favourite member of the community, the one and only ex-Boston, who is one of my Discord moderators, and he is running some incredible spice. We lead Weavile into Groudon. Our Avalanche would hit for huge damage. However, Weavile, made of paper, needs to respect the non-stab Fire Punches. We shield the Fire Punch, return fire with the Avalanche. Boston then makes a very nice catch, catching Fire Punch number 2 onto a Hippowdon in the Open Master League. Boston might be running some incredible spice, but the opponent most certainly is not messing around with a very meta team. The opponent sends out Mewtwo. Hippowdon withstands the Side Strike on 1 HP and a Dream, returns fire with the Rock-type Weather Ball, and Mewtwo easily withstands the damage. The opponent then gets the full Psycho Cut farm down. We send back in Weavile. Despite having a defense stat of around -6, we do withstand both Side Strike and Shadow Ball. The opponent throws the Side Strike. We withstand the damage. Boston looks for the full Snarl farm down. Unfortunately, the opponent reaches one further Side Strike, and we now invest our final protection. Weavile leaves absolutely loaded. The opponent sends back out Groudon. Avalanche goes unshielded. The opponent saving that final Protect Shield for Dialga, and do they know? We go straight for the Hail Mary. The opponent shows no respect. They get wrecked, and that's going to be all she wrote. Let's fucking go. What a boom. Next up, we've got Boston playing some Evolution Cup. Well, at least he is. His opponents are certainly playing Open Great League. We've got 3 middle evolutions. We've got Poliwhirl into Galarian Weezing. A pretty good matchup as they are weak to ground. The opponent fire off the Sludge. We withstand the damage. The opponent safe switches into Cherub, and here comes Staravia. Both Poliwhirl and Staravia are actually getting buffs next season. The Skull will be doing more damage and Staravia gets access to Fly. However, Staravia pretty dominant in this matchup. The Bullet Seeds are resisted. The Weather Wall Fire is an easy tank. Well, at least the first is. Boston's going to have to respect the second. Boston can now throw 4 wing attacks and the aerial ace for optimal fast move timing. 2 turn into 3 turn. You always want to throw at 1, 4 or 7 and Staravia maintains alignment. The opponent choose to send out their third, which is Walrein, and Walrein is also going to be hit in the face with the aerial ace. The Walrus now finds itself below half HP, however they get a very nice Powder Snow farm down. Boston waits out his clock, scheming away. As always, we send out Gloom, give him the show and go, attempt to catch the resisted Icicle Sphere back onto Politoed, but the opponent has other ideas, also make a catch of the Mud Bomb back onto Weezing, but Weezing is now already into the red. Politoed goes straight for the next Mud Bomb, securing the knockout. The opponent put all their hopes and dreams on the back of Walrein. The opponent needs the Earthquake to take us out. Icicle Sphere doesn't get the job done. The opponent looking for the full Powder Snow farm down. They don't get it. They also play to a CMP tie. They do not win. Mud Bomb forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's going to be a nasty Razor Leaf tap farm down all the way to their finish, and Gloom secures the dub. The opponent playing out to the Heart Attack Wingon, hoping Boston has a seizure, forgets to hit shield. He does not, and we manage to take that game. Next up, we've got Boston running the most ridiculous triple steal team I have ever seen. If you like this kind of content, make sure you join the Discord where Boston streams live multiple times a week. We lead Caesar into Ampharos, not a fantastic matchup. Caesar is glassy, but we can tank the first move. We tank the Brutal Swing. Boston then banks the Trailblaze, pivots out into Dug Trio. I have never seen this figure. We get hard countered with Greninja. Boston fires off the Mud Bomb, forcing a Protect Shield, and holy crap, we actually win CMP against Greninja. Greninja usually always wins CMP, but that tells you just how ridiculously attack weighted Dug Trio is. Boston has shield advantage. We send back out Caesar, and we're going for a very risky bait. Night Slash actually forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, so what do I know? Boston thinks he won't make the next Trailblaze, so settles for a Night Slash. We get the boost, and the boost forces the energy off Greninja. We see the instant no shield deployed. Boston putting all his hopes and dreams on the back of a 2-shielded Potato Head. Shout out Toy Story. In comes Probopass. Probopass respects the potential Hydro Cannon the opponent bait with the Night Slash, but Probopass does not care. We get the full Volt Switch farm down. Back out comes Ampharos. This is nowhere near enough energy for the Focus Blast, so we see the no shield deployed. Ampharos continuing to throw Brutal Swing after Brutal Swing, and finally we see Boston invest that final Protect Shield. The opponent then send out Charizard, and Charizard is going to be straight in and straight out Rock Slide. Double super effective. High Charizard, by Charizard. Probopass at the back-to-back and sweeps the back line. GG's, and thanks for playing. Boston very much showing you do not need to run meta to pick up some big wins, winning with probably one of the spiciest teams I have ever seen. Speaking of spice, the spice gets cranked up to the next level. Boston is not only running a triple steal team, he is running a full Magnet Evolution line. We see Altair in the lead. We go for the Discharge. Magnet Bomb is actually more energy efficient, but either way, it still lands for huge damage. Boston can now shield once. Volt Switch farm all the way down. I'm actually going to correct myself. Boston throwing the Discharge looks like the correct play as we exit with a charge move. Out comes Metachan, and this spells trouble. Boston fires off the Magnet Bombs. We're only going to reach one move. Metachan gets the full counter farm down, and we send in Magneton. The opponent throws after only 6 counters. This is even an Ice Punch or Power Up Punch. The opponent throws the resisted Ice Punch. Magneton, where's your bulk? We now throw the Discharge. Discharge forces the final Protect Shield, and it's now all down to Magnezone. Magnezone comes in, goes for the Wild Charge on the CMP tie. It's going to be high Metachan, by Metachan. We've now got a lowered defense. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Azumarill. There's no shot. We actually reached the Wild Charge. Is Wild Charge enough to knock out? Who was worried? And we managed to somehow beat a very, very meta team. Huge dub from Boston. Moving on to what I believe to be Boston's final entry of the video. As I said, if you want to see this kind of madness, join the Discord. It's linked down below. We lead Cacturne into Tapu Fini. The opponent safe switches into Alolan Muck, and we pivot into our Nukes Nidoqueen. This is a Queen King family line, Fiend team, Double Trouble team, you name it. Whatever you want to call it, here it is. We go for the Earth Power. Earth Power forces a Protect Shield. Boston could shield in return and look to play out the one shield. However, it looks like he's calling the bait, and Boston does not shield baits in his household. Huge cojones. Nidoqueen now goes for Earth Power number 2, and the opponent is not only down a shield, but they don't have switch. Back out comes Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini gets the full water gun farm down. We send back out Cacturn, which ironically is supposed to resist water, but the water gun's tearing us apart. Boston shields up the Surf, and the opponent sends out Cresselia. Cresselia is not going to appreciate this Dark Pulse. Cacturn hits like a truck. Cresselia now down below half health. Then stay in school, kids. Learn to count. Boston catches the potential Moonblast onto Nidoking, and what a play. You know that opponent is not going to be happy with that catch. They're also not going to be happy with the amount of lag they're receiving, but Boston showing no mercy to anyone using basic bitch meta. We farm up, throw the Earth Power secures the knockout, and does the opponent know about that Sludge Wave? We're full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Next up, we've got a Ranted Taco. Again, excuse the strange layout of this video. It is what it is. We need Powder Snow, Alolan Sandslash into the silly electric fish. This is definitely a matchup we wish we had Shadow Claw. We go straight for the Drill Run. Drill Run forces early shield advantage. Surf won't be lethal. The opponent needs a full send a Thunderbolt to secure the knockout. The opponent throws the Surf. We withstand the damage. The opponent then make a very nice snipe. Sniping with Metachan. And here comes Hisuian Sneasel. The opponent not even looking to bait a potential Psychic, and you can see why is that Ice Punch, despite not getting same type attack bonus, did ridiculous damage. Undeterred, we return fire with the Aerial Ace forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Hisuian Sneasel running out of HP. We are going to elect to shield up the next Ice Punch and then fire off Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace would be lethal from this range. We see a very cheeky undercharge, leaving Metachan a sliver of HP. We see a very nice counter farm down, giving Blaziken a running start. Lanturn is still very healthy and has residual energy. Blaziken has a whole heap of work to do. Back out comes Lanturn, and we're going to have to invest our final Protect Shield on the Surf. Blaziken continuing to farm up the opponent. Send out Alolan Sandslash. We see Ranted Taco very nicely over farm. Fire off the Blaze Kick. Blaze Kick, of course, knocks out. We didn't want to take the Ice Punch. We then throw the Brave Bird. Brave Bird is resisted, but nearly knocks out. We're going to Simul KO. Sneasel is still alive, and we win an incredibly close game. Very well played. Next up, we have Pokeboy God running Snarl Granbull with double rock types in the back. I'll be honest, I have never ever seen Armado in action because it has a terrible typing and an even worse moveset. However, we see the silly Steel Snake in the lead. Pretty good matchup for us. So the Dragon Tails are double resisted. The opponent at least looking to bait an Earthquake. We take the initiative, throw back-to-back close combats, forcing both Protect Shields. Granbull has a 4-stage lowered defense, but the Breaking Swipe is double resisted. We withstand the damage. The opponent then snipe with Wigglytuff, and I take back what I said because my god, it's Armaldo time. We might have the worst moveset you could possibly imagine, but this Cross Poison comes in clutch. The Cross Poison lands on Wigglytuff for big damage. Unfortunately, we see no boost. However, Armaldo able to withstand the charm damage, make Cross Poison number 2, and we're spamming the switch. It's 2-shield Cradilly versus the world. Out comes Cradilly, and it's a Zoomer in the back. This is very playable. Pokeboy God recognising that one Grass Knot won't be lethal, so he's just continuing to farm up energy. We know that Steelix will be returning, and as I say it, the opponent sends out Steelix. We fire off the Grass Knot before the opponent's able to get off the debuff. We're not going to shield up this Breaking Swipe, as non-stab Breaking Swipe doesn't do all that much damage. Pokeboy God again fires off the Grass Knot. It's going to be high Steelix by Steelix, just a Zoom rule does remain. Ideally, Pokeboy God would love to bank the Grass Knot, reset his debuff, but unfortunately, Switch Timer doesn't pop up. We throw the Grass Knot, however, debuff that doesn't knock out. Pokeboy God attempts to make the catch. The opponent holds their energy, but Azumarill cannot hold back-to-back moves. We send back out Cradilly. We're going to shield up the incoming Ice Beam, throw the Rock Slide, and our double Rock team is going to beat a very, very meta team. GG's, and thanks for playing. Next up, we've got Hot Diggity Dog. A lot of spice has been displayed so far in this video, but these are legend rank battles with a lot more meta. Triple Shadow team, of course. This isn't a battle of spice. It is the best win. We pick up a lead Machamp into Swampert. The opponent safe switches into Frostle as we full send the Rock Slide. Forcing a shield, we attempt to catch the Avalanche onto our Charmalolan Ninetales, and we are unsuccessful. Hot Diggity Dog reluctant to shield Alolan Ninetales, and unfortunately the opponent did full send the Shadow Ball. It looks like we're happy to take our shield advantage. We're going to just completely sack Ninetales, come in with Machamp, get the full counter farm down. The opponent unlikely to return with Swampert as we have too much energy. The opponent sends out Knockdown. Again, there is no baiting. We full send the Rock Slide. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. But Machamp still not done. Able to make the cross shot before going down. Putting Knockdown below half health. It's now 2 shield Charizard versus the world. We're showing great discipline, holding our energy. The opponent goes for that wham bam combo play. Send out Swampert. But Hot Diggity Dog sees it coming in. He's got 2 Protect Shields, and the win con is going to be just farm up to the back-to-back Blast Burns. 1 Blast Burn will be deleting Swampert. Knockdown might have exited with a charge move, but in case Knockdown didn't know, they're soon about to find out. They have 0 chance of beating us in the charge move prior event, and Charizard sweeps that game. Very well played and perfect energy management. Hot Diggity Dog did send us 2 battles to take a look at with the same team, so we lead Machamp into Azumarill. Azumarill is a problem for both Machamp and Charizard, so let's see how we look to play our way out of this one. We go straight for the Rock Slide after 7 counters, which is the correct timing. Rock Slide, despite not getting same type attack bonus, does big damage to Azumarill because Machamp looks muscular and it also hits like a fucking truck. Hot Diggity Dog invested Protect Shield on the play rough, and again there is no bait and we fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide forces a Protect Shield. We then attempt to make a catch onto Alolan Ninetales, and things have gone from bad to worse as our Charm Alolan Ninetales is met by Alolan Marowak. A Pokemon's on it, calls the goat. We fire off the Weather Wall, and to my surprise, the opponent invests that Protect Shield. We see the instant no shield deployed. Shadow Bone is no bubbled, which is the correct play as the opponent got trapped into a CMP tie. Luckily for us, we got the defense drop, so Marowak gets less farm than it would have if we wouldn't have got the defense drop. We now send out Charizard with 1 Protect Shield, 2 hard behind. We shield up the Shadow Bone. It's now all shields down. Charizard over farms. Fires off the Dragon Claw. Is Dragon Claw going to be enough to knock out? We actually go for an undercharge. We then anticipate Azumarill returning. Azumarill going to have to dump energy, play rough, secures a knockout back out. Comes Charizard. Charizard looking for the full wing attack farm down. Hot Diggity Dog's counting. Absolutely immaculate. We throw the Dragon Claw on the CMP tie. Dragon Claw does secure the knockout. Charizard now below half health. The opponent sends back up Marowak. Marowak gets farmed down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Sableye. Hot Diggity Dog farms up as much energy as possible. Throws the Blast Burn on 1 HP and a Dream. And we pull off a beautiful sweep. Very, very well played. In the right hands, with good energy management and good fast move counting, Charizard is by far the most ruthless Pokemon of them all. Speaking of Charizard, next up we've got no Bonfire ahead. And if you're wondering why we've got 2 crosses on the left hand side, this is Charizard with 4 shields, as we're using 2 Pokemon that are going to be used as sacrificial lambs. We see the first catch, catching the Focus Blast onto Krabby. Charizard returns to the battlefield, no Bonfire ahead. Farms up to the back-to-back Blast Burns. Does Registeel want to invest the Protect Shield? And they do not. Get absolutely wrecked, you stupid tin can. Oof. We are not out of the woods yet as the opponent has a Legacy Aquatail Quagman in the back. No Bonfire head. Of course going to shield up the Aquatail. This time we go for the Dragon Claw bait. Dragon Claw forces a Protect Shield. No Bonfire head. This time farms up. Full sends the Blast Burn. Blast Burn forces the shield. Of course, Charizard will be respecting the Aquatail, and the switch timer has popped up. I can see it coming. You can probably see it coming, but does the opponent see it coming? They do not. Stay in school, kids, and learn to count. It takes 4 mud shots to each Aquatail. We sack on our 4th shield. The opponent then send back out Chestnut. Charizard over farms. Blast Burn will be taking care of Chestnut. Back out comes the Quagman, and it's going to be high Quagman by Quagman, and Charizard sweeps the entire team. What a beautiful display of perfect energy management. Well played, No Bonfire ahead. No Bonfire ahead is also a fellow content creator, so I'm sure he's going to comment on this video. Go check him out. In the next battle, we lead Galvantula into Alolan Sandslash. The opponent goes straight for the Ice Punch, and we see Galvantula respect it with a Protect Shield. We then throw 1 further Volt Switch. We bait with a Lunge Discharge. Would be lethal. How big are the opponent's cojones? The opponent craps their pants. We see the aggressive pivot into Machamp. Sonic the Hedgehog gets deleted in the blink of an eye by the oppressive Shadow Machamp. The opponent waiting out their clock, probably wondering where their Sunslash went. They then send out Metachan, which should be good against Machamp. However, we've got a party trick. We're sending the payback. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Metachan near gets one shot, and we get another huge boom of the video. Metachan fires off the Ice Punch. Of course, in fairness to this opponent, they probably think due to Metachan's fighting Psychic typing, they should resist everything. However, surprise, we've got payback. The opponent now send out Lantern, and we respond with Piloswine. Of course, we're going to have to respect the Surf. We then send back out Galvantula. We farm up, throw the Lunge on the CMP type. Very nice play. Lunge will be given the debuff effect and forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent really couldn't afford to shield that, as they now have no Protect Shields. Too high behind, the opponent goes to undercharge. They get a nice Spark farm down, but in comes Piloswine. Piloswine has that high horsepower coverage, going to be high Lantern, by Lantern. Metachan on 1 HP and a Dream. We actually stop tapping, giving the opponent a false glimmer of hope, get the Powder Snow farm down and take that game. Next up, we've got Citizen Nate running a very cool Fire, Grass, Water starter theme team. We see a terrible lead, Typhlosion into Diggersby, and things have gone from bad to worse. We say switch into Meganium, attempt to throw the Earthquake, but lose CMP. The opponent full sends the Sludge Bomb, vanquishing us back to our Pokeball. Typhlosion doesn't have the best matchup against Thickersby in even energy. However, it hits like a truck, and Ground, despite hitting Fire for super effective, does not resist. So Citizen Nate sends out Typhlosion, one shield farms all the way down. Back out comes Thickersby. We're at the Solar Beam bait with the neutral Blast Burn, force of protection. We see the pivot into Feraligatr. The opponent stays in. They're taking huge damage from the waterfalls. We see the final Protect Shield deployed on the Hyper Beam Water Shield, and the opponent sends out Pidgeot. Citizen Nate farms up, throws the Hydro Cannon hits like a truck. Pidgeot invests that final Protect Shield, and they even dump energy. The opponent needs to throw the Brave Bird to secure the knockout. The opponent full sends the Brave Bird back out. Comes Typhlosion looking to sweep, farms up just short of the back-to-back Blast Burns. The first Blast Burn, of course, takes care of Pidgeot. We withstand the quick attack damage, reach the second Blast Burn, and Typhlosion is a Diggersby counter confirmed. You heard it here first. Next up, we've got the first of 3 battle submissions from Ditto Me This. We lead Cypher into Ninetales. Charm or Powder Snow, regardless, is going to be dreadful for the entirety of our team. We farm up, throw the Trailblaze. Trailblaze goes unshielded, and I'll be honest, for a Glass Cannon that did pitiful damage. Ditto Me This, going to be respecting the incoming Weather Ball. Can we make one further Trailblaze? It looks like we don't even commit to it, but this Night Slash is now boosted and does force our shield back. We then see the pivot into Staraptor. Staraptor looking for the full wing attack farm down. The opponent stays in. We're going to have to respect the Weather Ball, but we are going to get a huge wing attack farm down. The opponent still with 1 Protect Shield remaining. Send out Cypher's big brother Caesar. We fire off the Close Combat. Close Combat forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We make the Brave Bird, and it's going to be high Caesar by Caesar. Get absolutely wrecked. The opponent's final Pokemon is Obstagoon. It's going to be the battle of the Dark types. However, Ditto Me This still has a sacrificial swap in the form of Cypher. We send out Honchkrow, throw 3 Snarls, make the catch, back onto Cypher, and that is going to be all she wrote. The opponent goes for the no bubble. They don't get enough farm. Honchkrow comes in, reaches the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird is going to vanquish Obstagoon back to their Pokeball. GG's. Next up, Ditto Me This is running a very spicy team in the Open Great League with both Girafarig and Blossom. We see Girafarig into the ever-annoying Steel Snake. Our double kicks do hit for super effective, but my god is this Giraffe glassy. We see the instant shield deployed, blocking the incoming Breaking Swap. The opponent then switch out into Sableye, and we're going to give him that debuff effect with the Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang goes unshielded, and we pivot into Blossom. The opponent farming up 1 bazillion energy, so Ditto Me This says, thank you very much, I'll take the initiative and throw the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade goes unshielded, and Sableye dies with about 1 bazillion energy. The opponent sends out Pidgeot, but Blossom has that Fairy type Dazzling Gleam coverage. Dazzling Gleam forces a Protect Shield. The opponent looks for the full wing attack farm down. However, do they know their counts? This is only a resisted Leaf Blade. However, it still forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Pidgeot gets a massive wing attack farm down. Ditto Me This does have 1 Protect Shield, 2 high behind. We actually get denied coming in, which is brutal. We respect the potential Brave Bird. The opponent baits with the Feather Dance and then pivot out. into the silly steel snake, and here comes Gligar. When shields are down, Gligar's a very good answer for this ever annoying steel snake. However, we have been debuffed, so this dig won't quite be lethal. Dig leaves Steelix on a sliver of HP. The opponent makes one further break-in swipe. Break-in swipe won't be lethal. All Ditto with this needs to do is reach the aerial ace. He actually gets the full wing attack farm down, makes the aerial ace for the road. However, that is pretty irrelevant as we did exit with the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is going to win CMP, and it's going to be high Pidgeot by Pidgeot. Get zapped out of the sky. GG's and thanks for playing. Next up, we have Ditto with this venturing into the Open Master League. I tried Shadow Hariyama when we had Master League Classic, and my god, it was hard to use. We leave Mewtwo into Melmetal. We attempt to make a Rockside catch onto the big boy Hariyama. The catch isn't the cleanest, but the opponent doesn't respond quick enough. And this is why I struggled so much, as Hariyama gets hard punished by an opposing Mewtwo. However, the opponent allows us to reach the Heavy Slam, and Heavy Slam actually forces a Protect Shield. Hariyama has done its job, and we're just going to elect to let it go down. Another reason Hariyama is so difficult to use, it is fucking enormous. It takes up the entirety of the screen, and it makes fast move counting so incredibly hard. We now send out Gardevoir, actually running Magical Leaf. We correctly shield up a Flamethrower. An interesting coverage move of choice from the opponent. Mewtwo's a real bag of tricks. We fire off the Triple Axel. Triple Axel doesn't knock out. This is only a Side Strike which will be resisted, but you're going to see Gardevoir doesn't tank moves particularly well. We actually elect to shield. Gardevoir is now boosted. Back out comes Melmetal. Surely this isn't a double Iron Bash. You've got to run Super. It's only a Rock Slide. We withstand the damage. Return Fire with the boosted Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball lands for huge damage. We then go for the Wham Bam combo play. Send out Mewtwo. Fire off the Side Strike. Side Strike goes unshielded. The opponent saving that final Protect Shield for Kyogre, but Mewtwo still not done. Reaches one further Side Strike, which should force the opponent's final shield. The opponent elect not to shield. They dump energy, and it looks like this opponent can save that shield for next season. Surf isn't lethal. They get one further Waterfall, however Gardevoir comes in, gets the Magical Leaf farm down, and we're going to farm down Mewtwo and take that game. Next up, we've got the first of 3 entries from my first ever member here on YouTube. Huge shout out to Ben. Willie Potato Head into Dragalge, make a very nice catch. Catching a resisted Aquatail onto Poliwhirl, and holy, the opponent must be weak. Not only is Poliwhirl very advantageous against Dragalge, it obviously absolutely destroys Sunny Castform. Ben fires off the first Mud Bomb, forcing a protection, and this time we're full sending the Skull. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. We managed to force both Protect Shields. The opponent looking for the full Ember farm down, but Poliwhirl says not today. Reaches one further Mud Bomb, leaving Castform on minimal HP. Castform does have access to Solar Beam, although it takes an absolute eternity for them to reach it. We send out Potato Head. This is only a Weather Ball, but Ben, looking to keep Potato Head healthy, shields up the Weather Ball and commits to the full Spark farm down. Back out comes Dragalge, and we're YOLOing the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon is resisted, but Probopass very rarely gets to throw it. So we managed to throw the Zap Cannon, pivot out into Swampert to catch the Aquatail. Number 2. The opponent's final Pokemon is Walrein. Walrein has no Protect Shields, too hard behind Ben. Can tank this Icicle Sphere, but does Swampert have enough HP to reach the Earthquake? Yes, it does. Swampert on 1 HP and the Dream. YOLO's the Earthquake. Walrein gets vanquished. Back to their Pokeball. Dragalge comes in, gets the Dragon Tail farm down. However, Potato Head comes in, reaches the Magnet Bomb, and flexes in a very nice win. Well played, Ben. For Ben's next battle submission, we have a Gible Evolution line. We pick up a great lead of Marwile into Umbreon. However, the opponent say switches into a Azumarill, and we've got 2 dragons in the back, so Ben's going to have to stay in here and look to take out Umbreon with his dragons in the end game. Ben shields up the Play Rough, returns fire with the Iron Head. Iron Head won't be lethal, but Play Rough would. The opponent actually call the bait like an absolute savage. However, this is only another Play Rough. Ben can easily withstand the damage, commit to the full Fairy Wind farm down, and he leaves with residual energy good to go. The opponent sends out Nidoqueen. We see the pivot into Gabite. Umbreon returns to the battlefield, and Ben's going to start unleashing dig after dig. The first dig landed for pretty respectable damage, as Umbreon is by far one of the bulkiest mon in existence with 6 bazillion HP. Speaking of bulk, you can see Gabite has 0. That foul play nearly took us out. Likewise, the second dig leaves Umbreon into the red. Gabite on a sliver of HP makes one further dig, which actually forces a Protect Shield. We send out Garchomp, And once again, Garchomp about to make Umbreon look like it hits like a truck. Ouch, that hurt. Just Nidoqueen remains. Ben switches out, makes a very nice catch onto his 1 HP Marwile. The opponent was baiting, but at this stage, Ben does not care. We send back out Garchomp, fire off the Sand Tomb, which will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield and lowering the opponent's defense. The opponent about to give us the debuff treatment as well, but Ben, undeterred, manages to Dragon Tail farm down and take that game. In the next battle, Ben is unleashing Alakazam in the Open Master League. Shoutcast it on my phone with a Shadow Aura. I'll be honest, it's really difficult to tell if this is Psycho Cut or Counter, as they're both 2-turn moves. But regardless, Ben lands the Shadow Ball. We then look to snipe with Metagross. The opponent doesn't respond quick enough. Ben gets a very nice Bullet Punch farm down, and the opponent responds with Mewtwo. Mewtwo has to respect this Meteor Mash. We force our shield back, and the opponent is going to need to Shadow Ball to take us out. Ben calling the Shadow Ball, and what a call, as the opponent is not baiting. Ben is now able to overfarm, return fire with Meteor Mash number 2, and it's now all shields down. Mewtwo overfarms, fires off the Shadow Ball, but Metagross has got Mewtwo down to around 1/3 health. Ben in a tough position as neither Pokemon wants to tank a charge where we send back out Alakazam. I'll be honest, there's no need to Shadow Ball, as a Side Strike would get the job done, but the opponent does us a huge favour. Full send the Shadow Ball, the opponent recognising they're about to get farmed down, pivot out into Dialga, but we've got that big superpower coverage. Superpower secures the knockout, Mewtwo gets farmed down, and Ben takes the dub. In the next battle, we've got another one that's weirdly cropped, but we're just going to ignore that and continue with the commentary. We see a pretty poor lead and an even worse save switch. Wish Daddy Cash obviously very dominant against Ampharos, but Ampharos able to put in a whole heap of work. The opponent allows us to make 2 brutal swings, and we actually managed to play out a decent position. I was going to say in the 1 shield, the opponent gets so greedy. Ampharos able to force both Protect Shields in the mid game, and this is fantastic. We can now send in Cradilly. Oh my gosh, we're calling the Mud Bomb bait. Oh, holy shit. Huge cojones on display. The opponent throws 2 Mud Bombs. Cradilly gets the full Bullet Punch farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Toxicroak, and they'll still look so tough. We have got shield advantage. However, Gligar on Night Slash and Dig can only hit this bulky Vulture for resisted damage. Come on, show me the boost. RNG gods say not today. We're running out of HP, and the only win combi landing a dig on Toxicroak. Our switch timer still isn't up. Gligar now very deep in the red, fires off the Night Slash. We bank the dig, go for that wham bam combo play, land the Rock Slide, take care of Mandibuzz. Toxicroak gets the counter farm down. They don't exit with a charge move. Gligar throws the dig, and that is a huge dub and very well played. Next up, we've got Jrog. I believe the last battle was Big Pokey. However, as the battle was cropped without the trainer name, I'm unsure, as I had so many submissions, as you can tell by this huge video length. Returning to the commentary, we lead Hypno into the fence Deoxys. The opponent fires off the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt doesn't do too much, but Shadow Ball will land for huge damage. The opponent shows no respect. Get Rock deep into the red. Defense Deoxys makes the Psycho Boost before going down, but Hypno does not care. Hypno gets the full Confusion farm down. We leave deep in the red. The opponent sends out the ever-annoying Steel Snake. Jrog, recognising despite being very low, is able to throw at the correct timing, maximising his confusion damage. We force a Protect Shield and send out Wish Daddy Cash. The opponent, at least looking to bait an Earthquake, allows Wish Daddy Cash to fire off the Mud Bomb first, and the opponent invests their final Protect Shield. Trainer, what's in the back? Are you weak to Wish Daddy Cash? Jrog calls the bait. The opponent throws the Break-In Swipe, then throw back to back. We sneak the Mud Shot. Unfortunately, double debuff. This Mud Bomb won't be lethal, so I expect Jrog to pivot. As I say that, here comes our Snarl Alolan Mark. Again, this isn't enough for an Earthquake, but Jrog really needs to start using them shields rather than saving them for next season. Of course, next season is here now, but you may as well try and get some wins rather than just banking shield after shield. Alolan Mark is a Steelix counter confirmed. Jrog gets the screenshot for the road, and the opponent, to my surprise, has their own Wish Daddy Cash in their back and a Shadow. Oof, I'm not sure on this shield, buddy, as the opponent is going to outpace to the next Mud Bomb. This is going to come down to CMP. Mud Bomb will be securing the knockout, both trainers. On a 5 cycle, out comes our Wish Daddy Cash. We reach the Mud Bomb, win CMP, and Jrog wins a very close game. GG's. Our final participant is going to be Gilot, and he is playing some Open Master League. The ever annoying Steel Snake. If you wonder why it's so busted, it's sub 2800 CP, and you're going to see it go to work in the Master League. We see the instant no shield deployed. This is Shadow on Shadow Crime. Avalanche is a Side Strike clone, but Steelix, despite its very low CP, withstands the damage, returns fire with the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe and the residual Dragon Tails get this mammoth below half health. The opponent looking for the full Powder Snow farm down. Steelix makes one further Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe gets them low. We then see the snipe with Lugia. Mammoth gets sniped with a whole heap of energy, and the opponent sends out Genesect. With Season 17's huge update to Incinerate being the first 4 damage and 4 energy per turn move, I highly doubt players are going to run AVA weak to fire. Gilot respects the Techno Blast Ice and the opponent bait with the X Scissor. We also bait with the Sky Attack and the opponent calls the bait like a savage. However, Lugia is incredibly thick. Even a Techno Blast won't knock out the opponent this time. Full sends, we withstand the damage. We're looking for the full Dragon Tail farm down. Genesect says no, reaches the X Scissor, and we're putting all our hopes and dreams on the back of Gardevoir. We actually send back out Steelix. Steelix gets sniped with Zygarde. Oh, hello, new number 1 top meta threat. Meet your worst nightmare in the form of Shadow Gardevoir. The opponent absolutely helpless to this Shadow Rain of destruction. We shield up the incoming crunch, but no debuff. We'll be saving this opponent. We fire off the triple axle, which will now be vamping up our oppressive charm damage. We can now tap, charm down, farm down everything, and Gardevoir gives a harsh reminder of who's the most oppressive fairy of them all. GG's, and thanks for playing. I can't quite believe it, but we're entering the final battle. This has been a week-long project. My voice is killing me. I've actually been putting this video together for 10 hours today, and we see Steelix into Dialga. In case you're wondering why Steelix got a nerf, we're almost 2000 CP lower than Dialga, and we are putting in a whole heap of work. The opponent can throw whatever they like. Steelix does not care. We see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent full send a Draco, and Steelix says, "Is that all you've got?" Gilot over farms, fires off one further Breaking Swipe. This is now going to put Dialga's attack to the absolute minimum. Their 4-stage debuff. We even force a Protect Shield. Steelix still not done. Fires off one further Breaking Swipe. And you can see, despite the opponent committing a Protect Shield and us committing none, they're left deep in the red and have a maximum debuffed attack. We send out Lugia looking for the farm down. The opponent, what they're going to throw? Iron Head. Holy crap. I think that actually healed Lugia. Lugia gets the full Dragon Tail farm down. Out comes Excadrill. Gengar doesn't really fancy tanking these mud shots or drill runs, so Gilot happy to stay with Lugia. As Lugia is incredibly thick, we tank the Rock Slide. Gilot farms to the Aeroblast, baits with the Sky Attack, looking to put pressure on the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent does invest that final Protect Shield, and my god, it's Gengar time. We see the instant no shield deployed. Rock Slide will be lethal. What can beat Gengar? Up 2 Protect Shields, in comes Gengar. Of course, we're going to have to shield up the incoming drill run. However, trainer, do you have a dark type? If not, you're in trouble. The opponent continues to stay in. Gilot looking to get this Excadrill out of here. Throws the Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch secures the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Mewtwo. And we're going to end the video with Gengar's huge smile, nuking Mewtwo into oblivion. Get absolutely fucking wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is going to draw to a close my challenge for Season 16's Best Win Shadow Edition. Huge thank you to everyone that did send in some battles. I'm going to get them polls set up on my community tab, and we're going to find out who's the winner of the competition, and they will be gifted an event ticket of their choice. I'm going to end the video with some thoughts of my own. Season 16 was a massive disappointment for myself. It was the first time since Season 8 I was unable to hit Legend. I only played around 650 battles. I didn't enjoy the meta whatsoever. However, that's okay. Like myself, if you're not having fun, take a break. It's only a game. I've already hit Legend 6 times, only using Shadow Pokemon. So at this point, it's more important for me to have fun. In the coming season, I'm going to look to put out as much content as possible, featuring as many spicy shadows as I possibly can. If you like your battles featured on the channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.